let's talk about the Eagles and the Vikings. I said last week I was going to pick the Vikings to win, and I did pick the Vikings to win because I believe the Vikings trusted their quarterback, Case Keenum, more than the Eagles trusted their quarterback. I was dead flat wrong. In fact, the opposite was true. I absolutely loved what Philadelphia decided to do. The Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff said, we have nothing to lose. Screw it. We're going to give the ball to Nick Foles and let him rip. We're just going to let him go. They were aggressive. They went all out, and I thought that was the perfect approach. It was fantastic. Because, yeah, you have nothing to lose. Why not trust Nick Foles? Does that make sense? The Vikings trusted their quarterback less than the Eagles did, and I honestly, really, truly thought the opposite would be true. This was a less enjoyable game. I mean, I'll be honest, I was watching the Vikings and Eagles thinking about the Patriots, just wanting to know more about the Patriots. That game was awesome. I did not expect a blowout. That shocked me. I thought if one team was going to have a blowout, it would actually be the Minnesota Vikings. So the Vikings, if one team was going to have a blowout, the Vikings would blow out the Eagles, not the other way around. But I really thought it was going to be close. I thought it was going to be a one-touchdown game. It was far from it. But here's what made the difference. Here is the reason why the Eagles won. There's a very simple reason. Nick Foles was able to handle the pass rush, and Case Keenum simply was not. Both teams got pressure on the quarterback. The Eagles had a great pass rush. The Vikings had a great pass rush. Both teams were right in the quarterback's face all game. But when Case Keenum was pressured, he threw a pick six, threw another interception. He had a forced fumble, 3 turnovers, not great. And I don't like the word exposed, but I want to use it here. I think Case Keenum was exposed. When you get pressure on Case Keenum, when you hit him, throw him to the ground, he can't make it happen. I love Case Keenum. I'm a huge Case Keenum fan. But his limitations showed last night. I've been preaching all year that he's actually one of the more underrated quarterbacks. I was wrong. I mean, I'll be honest. I think Case Keenum can still win games. But obviously, you need to very well protect Case Keenum or else you're not going to win games. Case Keenum he can't have pressure in his face. Like Tom Brady can avoid the rush. Nick Foles avoided the rush last night. Big Ben can avoid the rush. It's fine to say that, but but Case Keenum can't avoid the rush. He got exposed last night. That long touchdown before the half for Nick Foles. I'm now switching gears to Nick Foles. It was crazy. Nick Foles handled, in contrast to Case Keenum, Nick Foles handled the pass rush incredibly well. Remember that long touchdown before the half? He's dead to rights in the backfield. He gets away, throws it deep downfield. It looked just like Big Ben. It was exactly like Big Ben Roethlisberger. I loved it, man. Remember, when I talk about trust, before halftime, the Eagles are slinging the ball all over the field. It's freaking impressive. It was fun to watch. It was really weird. Before halftime, the Vikings had like 35 seconds left. They were trying to drive and get some ground and kick a field goal, and they were throwing little dinky, 5-yard passes. If there is not a more clear statement, we don't trust our quarterback than that. That is the most clear, in-your-face statement. We do not trust our quarterback. It's weird. The Eagles were aggressive. The Vikings were not. They didn't trust Case Keenum as much as I thought they would, which is weird. I thought if you don't trust Case Keenum, why not put Sam Bradford in? I would not take out Case Keenum. I'm ride or die Case Keenum. If a guy got me there, I'm going to die with him. Does that make sense? Like if you're working on a group project and the guy does 95% of the work and then right at the end you're like, nah, man, I don't trust you to get this done. I'm going to replace you with someone else. That's not right. I know you got to win games, but that's not right. I wouldn't do that. So I think it was right to leave Case Keenum in. But it's surprising because of how little the Vikings appeared to trust Case Keenum. If you don't trust Case Keenum to throw the ball when you have 35 seconds left before the half and you're trying to drive to get a field goal, why not just put Sam Darnold in? Does that make sense? Is that logic? That logic makes sense. Sam Bradford, come on, guys. If you don't trust Case Keenum, go to him. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Again, I would have trusted Case Keenum, but I think I would have trusted Case Keenum more than the Vikings did. The Vikings did not appear to believe in him yesterday. And Nick Foles was not afraid. It was awesome. It was like, wow. When Carson Wentz, this is the last thing I'll say, when Carson Wentz got hurt, Nick Foles talked about how he called himself a gunslinger, and he sounded brash and incredibly confident, and that's what we saw yesterday. We saw a guy who wasn't afraid. He was aggressive, throwing the ball all over the place, had no reservations. I talked about how, I think I said this earlier in the year, Nick Foles was struggling, but he had a great self-awareness. And last night, he showed it. It was interesting. It was a lot of fun to watch. And again, the difference for the Eagles was Nick Foles was able to handle the pass rush. Case Keenum simply was not.